Ilhan Omar. So this, it's just, again, I'm not going to yell, but it is driving me nuts still. And here's the thing: people still don't know how bad this bill was. People still don't know how bad this bill was. But you know why? Because they haven't told them, and that hasn't affected them directly yet. No one's told them. The progressive press hasn't told them. Bernie Sanders hasn't told them. Certainly the squad hasn't told them. Elizabeth Warren hasn't told us. They still send emails saying all the stuff they got and saying what we have to do going forward. You know, the fourth stimulus, you know how much a leverage that the progressives have, meaning Bernie and Elizabeth, Sherrod Brown, Michael, or whoever, and the squad and Rocon. You know how much leverage they have now? Zero. They have zero leverage because the only leverage they had was to hold up that bill and call out their leadership when they were passing it, which they didn't do. They bent the knee. And I've seen other progressive shows that they're talking about this vote as if it was just another vote. Like, yeah, they're not perfect. Bernie shouldn't have voted for it. It was wrong. Like, that's as close as you can get to them telling you. That is, to say that's an understatement about what happened isn't even starting. And the fact that, you know, I was the only one really screaming my head off about this in the progressive space says it tells you why there's there's nothing happening progressively. If you can't even get upset about the biggest wealth transfer in the history of the country, let me ask you this. Do you think the progressive media would have screamed about it more had Bernie and the squad voted against it? You know they would have. So here is Ilhan Omar. She's being revealed. She's, as far as I'm concerned, to be just another career politician climber. What is the point of not taking corporate money if you're going to vote with the corporation anyway? What is the point of electing progressives if they're going to vote with the security state? What is the point? As Norman Solomon said, there is no point. There's no point to vote for them. None. I've heard people saying the reason why Bernie is still staying in the race but not campaigning. There are people who are this cynical are saying, "Oh, that's to make sure that another third party doesn't start up right now. That's to make sure there isn't an independent run that starts right now to kind of squash whatever that is." I don't think that's the case, but you can understand why people would think that way. You could see how you've poisoned everyone's thinking by capitulating at every turn, especially over this bill. The capitulation over this bill is inexplicable. There's no explaining it. There's no squaring that circle. There's no amount of apologizing for it. Nothing. And there's no leverage to help you now. There's no leverage to get you anything. And the only thing that you're going to get is whatever Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump and Steve Mnuchin decide you get. That's it. Because Bernie and Elizabeth, they've all given up their power. I don't think they even care if they pass another stimulus. That's the problem, because they already got everything. You know what Nancy Pelosi decided to do right after they passed the stimulus and they figured out they didn't take care of working people? Her next move was to cut state taxes for people making $250,000 and above. So here's what Ilhan Omar says. She says, "Today our movement faces a setback, but every single setback is an opportunity to push for progress." No, what is an opportunity to push for progress? Our huge crisis. When you have a crisis like we have right now, do you see what the corporations did? They immediately snapped in and did their shock doctrine of completely capturing give me $4 trillion so I can buy up the rest of our economy. You know what the progressives did? Nothing. They immediately, I got an email from Bernie Sanders the other day saying, we are not trying to pass Medicare for all at this time. That's for the future. Do you see how the disconnect? It's almost like the corporation is writing those emails. Why the fuck would you do that? Okay, I'm starting to yell again. I'm going to stop. So today our movement faces a setback, but every single setback is an opportunity to push for progress. In a democracy, we the people still have the ability to create that society. Well, newsflash, we don't live in a democracy. Why? That's gaslighting. We don't live in a democracy. If anything has been proven to us, we live in an oligarchy. We do live in an oligarchy. It's been proven by studies And it's been reality. Did you see what they just did with the bailout? They took care of the oligarchs and screwed everybody else. That's how an oligarchy works. That's not how a democracy works. And then you voted with the oligarchs. She says, we need to continue to build coalitions with our neighbors, our family members. We need to continue to put pressure on our elected leaders to fight for the America we deserve. We need to continue to put pressure on our elected leaders. Even they say it accidentally. Even they say it accidentally. Well, who put pressure on you to vote for this bill and then tell everybody all the good stuff you got out of it? Who pressured you to do that? Nancy Pelosi? Did any of your constituents pressure you not to vote against this or do anything about it? No. You know why? Because it happened like that and people didn't even have a chance to react to it. So you bent to the pressure of Nancy Pelosi and the corporation. You didn't bend to ARP. And now that's just, again, this is just gaslighting. That's just lip service. Continue to pressure. You're the one who needs pressuring. You phony. Still not telling the truth about what happened. For those of you who plan to sit this election out, our vote or vote for Trump, just stop. The livelihoods of millions of marginalized people are at stake. They were already at stake, and then you threw them under the bus without a fight. Don't give me, that's lip service. That's garbage. That's what that is. That's garbage. And then she goes, we must all fight like hell to get Donald Trump out of the White House. When did you ever fight like hell? When you voted to extend the Patriot Act and expand the surveillance state for Donald Trump? When you voted to give Donald Trump $500 billion to do what he wanted with while doing nothing for workers? When do you fight like hell? Do you see that these people are gaslighting you? Your own progressive elected officials are gaslighting you, and then the progressive press also gaslights you? That's what's happening. And that's why I stick out like a sore thumb right now. She goes on to say, in moments like this, I'm reminded of my grandfather. He was born in colonized Somalia and was never afforded the opportunity to live in a democracy until he came to the United States. He would tell us every day as he went to caucus and vote that it is a right and an honor. We must always remember to fully utilize it. He cherished the ability to organize for political change because he knew how rare it was. So what I said to Ilhan Omar is, pretty sure you did your best to kill the whole movement when you backed the biggest transfer of wealth in human history instead of opposing Pelosi and the corrupt party. When it was your honor to vote, you voted for oligarchy. A whole thread to tell you she's going to back Biden. That's all that is. Hey, this is the part where I tell you where our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then I would tell you to go join our premium, but nobody has a fucking job. So why don't you just enjoy the video?